Hello everyone. Today is 19th of June. Now it's 2:30 in the afternoon Moscow time. I'm Levan Gudadze and this is my second update for a day in which I will share some of the news that was reported by Russian media since my first update, and I guess many members of our community will find this information interesting. At least I hope so. And well, let's start. And first of all, this report from RIA Novosti that may sound like shock and awe for South Korea, Japan, US, and collective West in general, leadership, political leadership of the collective West in general, and the Western ruling class, which is that Russia and North Korea signed a treaty on a strategic partnership, and by this treaty, by the way, sides are obligating themselves to provide mutual aid in case of aggression, in case of foreign aggression. Let's go through this news here. Moscow and Pyongyang, as we say here in Russia, have pledged to assist each other against foreign aggression. Russian President Vladimir Putin announced on Wednesday during a visit to the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. He and his North Korean counterpart Kim Chen-in signed a strategic partnership agreement during their meeting. It will serve as a roadmap for future cooperation and in all shapes, from cultural and tourist ties to trade, economic relationships, and security. The Russian leader has stated, calling it truly a breakthrough. The document on comprehensive partnership that have signed today provides, among other things, for mutual aid in case of aggression against one of the participants, the president added. Moscow supports Pyongyang's intention to protect its security and sovereignty from possible Western aggression, which is its right. Putin said the country considers the US and its allies responsible for the increasing tensions in the region, he added. Oversee the Western propaganda. Troops can no longer hide the aggressive geopolitical intentions, including in the northwestern Asia, Putin said. Russian president also noted that Western nations were supplying advanced weapons to Ukraine and have given Kiev the green light to strike Russia. Under these circumstances, Russia does not rule out the development of military cooperation with the DPRK under the document signed today. He denounced the indefinite restriction regime imposed on North Korea by the UN Security Council, which includes an arms embargo as orchestrated by the US, and urged for it to be revised. The Russian president had previously warned that the West, over Kiev's desire to use donated weapons to conduct strikes deep inside Russia. Should that happen, Moscow could send similar types of weapons to enemies of the West, which could use them to strike their military assets of the US and its allies, he said earlier this month. So yes, by the way, I mean, do I need to continue? Everything is clear. As one say goes here in Russia, Russia is preparing a long time but writes fast. And I guess we are approaching the territory when Russia is starting to ride, and Western ruling class may not be ready what is about to come. This is of course breaking news. This is breaking news, and when it comes to cooperation between Russia and North Korea, one should keep in mind that according to this agreement on mutual aid against aggression, well, this agreement clearly opens the window for Russia to provide North Korea with their cutting-edge technology, first of all, missile technology, which will allow North Korea to develop not just long-range weapon systems, but intercontinental weapon systems, including hypersonic, with hypersonic capabilities, which will, of course, make US and its allies' air defense systems obsolete. And cooperation may go even further than that. Although same time, of course, North Korea may provide Russia under this agreement with all the necessary military aid that North Korea is capable of providing, from artillery systems and munition to, if necessary, even manpower. Because I'm quite sure North Korea remembers support of Soviet officers and soldiers during the struggle against US and its allies. So big news, by the way, big news, and many more steps from Russia to come that will definitely force Western ruling elites to face the reality and realize finally that they are no longer in charge of this world, and they are basically nobodies, complete nobodies. That's it. To continue, TASS News Agency is reporting here that during their meeting, Russian and North Korean leaders also discussed railway building and modernization of the railways between the two countries, which will, of course, might play a huge role in future into developments of the some economical projects and to increase trade between the sides. Currently, there is a railway, Hassan Rajin railway, but definitely it needs to be modernized. And the Russian president mentioned that this railway is very important, and Russian companies will make sure to modernize this railway up to all the necessary standards. So yes, it's gonna be not just military cooperation, but I think my prediction was correct, and the North Korean economy market will open for Russian businesses, and I guess in 3 to 5, maximum 10 years time, impact of Russian investments in North Korea will be enormous. Let's continue, and we have a TASS News Agency's report here that Jake Sullivan, aide of US President Joe Biden in national security matters, stated that F-16s that West will provide Kiev regime will be based in Ukraine. And well, I guess this question was asked to Jake Sullivan to clarify rumors that are circulating on internet about possible deployment of F-16s that was promised to Kiev regime into airfields in Poland and Romania. And according to those rumors, NATO is planning to use F-16s exactly from these airfields in the NATO member states, which will make them legit target for Russia, obviously. And I don't know if we can trust Jake Sullivan. I definitely don't trust him, and therefore I think this is a deception, attempt of deception from his side. Well, he is stating that F-16s that Kiev regime will receive will be based in Ukraine. Where in Ukraine exactly? There is only few areas that F-16s can be based. These planes are not as agile as Soviet planes, and they can hardly take off from their unprepared field. as Soviet MiGs and Sus can. F-16s and Western fighter jets in general need hours and hours of maintenance and very much top-notch environment to operate with. It's almost a sterile environment because those planes are just too vulnerable. And the Kiev regime definitely cannot provide such airfields right now, and will not be able to provide these planes with such airfields ever. Anyways, this is the attempt of deception from Biden's administration that F-16s will be based in Ukraine. This is all lie, by the way. Most likely, those F-16s will be based in Poland and Romania, if Bucharest and Warsaw will allow NATO to use their territories for operations against Russia, for strikes against Russia. They should be ready to face whatever response Russia will have. They can blame only themselves for allowing NATO to use them. Anyways, let's continue. Artists report that concerns grow over the press freedom in Ukraine, according to New York Times. Well, time to time, periodically, let's say, Western propaganda outlets are forced to say something about real situation in Kiev-controlled territory, and this is, I guess, exactly that. That rare occasion. And also, by the way, I pursue this increased criticism in the Western propaganda outlets of the Kiev regime as a preparation of the ground by Western ruling class to replace Zelensky at some point in a relatively short time or relatively near future. But anyways, let's go through this news. Ukrainian journalists and the monitoring groups have sounded the alarm over the attempts to curtail press freedom in the country under Vladimir Zelensky. The New York Times has reported, according to media workers, restrictions and pressure on them from the government go beyond Ukraine's security needs aimed at the conflict with Russia, the paper said in their article on Tuesday. The authorities in Kiev are trying to make sure that the opposition, in particular the party of the former president Petro Poroshenko, does not get positive coverage in the press, and that the government and the military are never criticized. The report said late last year, management at the state-run news agency Ukrinform provided a list of opposition figures, activists and their elected officials labeled undesirable for quoting in its articles. According to New York Times, this blacklisted included the mayor of Lvov, Andrei Sadavoy, who is vowed as a possible future presidential candidate. This article added the deputy director of Ukrinform, Maria Singaevskaya, resigned this year over what she described as political meddling by the authorities. And then, quote, if we name desirable and undesirable speakers, it is a big step back from the democracy. Yuri Strushin, a reporter with the Strushin said, with the Ukrinform, told their outlet. Strushin said that he received a notice to renew his draft registration one day after he appeared on Suspline broadcaster to talk about the government's guidelines for journalists. The timing of the riots of the notice was suspicious, he added. Last month, Ukrainian media watchdog Detector Media said members of the Zelensky's Servant of the People's Party accounted for some 70% of political guests on the telemarathon. Around-the-clock multi-channel broadcast set up by the Kiev government as a single source of televised information about the conflict with Russia during the first quarter of this year. So, well, once again, relatively critical article in New York Times, and I see this increased criticism of the Zelensky's regime in the Western propaganda outlets as a clearly preparation of the ground to replace Zelensky. And well, I cannot know for sure how many months or weeks Zelensky has left as in office of the president, but there is quite a number of indicators that not that long, not that many. Anyways, let's continue. Vzglyad newspaper is reporting that Russian nuclear submarines of the Northern Fleet, Oryol and Severodvinsk, conducted test launches in the Barents Sea of the cruise missiles in the Barents Sea. During these exercises, Caliber and Granite missiles were a launcher. And by the way, right now exercises are taking place not just in Barents Sea, but also in the Pacifics. The Russian Pacific Fleet is conducting quite a large-scale naval exercises. And also, when it comes to Russian Navy, we have information that several Russian warships arrived in Libya, in Tobruk city, which is eastern Libya and controlled by Benghazi government. As we all know, Libya is divided between the two rival groups. One is based basically in Tripoli, and another one under leadership of General Haftar, in Benghazi. And the Tobruk city is in the southern Libya, and it is controlled by Haftar forces. This is Tobruk, by the way, here, and Benghazi is a little west from here. This is Benghazi. And of course, it is well-established fact that Russian side was quite supportive of Haftar's forces during this internal struggle for power in Libya between Benghazi government and the Tripoli government. And Russia was not alone. Of course, Egypt is also, I believe, was in support of Haftar government, United Arab Emirates, and many other countries in the region, and even some European states, by the way, even some European states. So in Libya, Russia and their few NATO members were allies. How ironic, isn't it? So yes, interesting. Russian Navy is quite active. Just a day ago, we had information that Russian nuclear submarine Kazan and their frigate Admiral Gorshkov left their Havana port in Caribbeans, and they will conduct now some military drills in the Atlantic Ocean, and who knows, maybe they will visit some other countries also. For example, Venezuela. Why not? Let's see. RT report that US greenlights new arms sales to Taiwan. So US State Department has approved the new weapons sales to Taiwan involving hundreds of armed drones and missiles worth $360 million. The Pentagon Defense Security Cooperation Agency, DSCA, has stated okay, yet another provocation from Washington against China and against security in the Pacific region in general. I guess it's only a matter of time, and Beijing will also start retaliating on these provocative actions of the deep state of the US and ruling class in US in general. Vzglyad newspapers report that Estonia is trying to blackmail Georgia. Seems like Western ruling class choose Estonia, Lithuania, and Latvia, these Baltic failed states, to be used as spearheads against Georgia. Just recently, during this Western-controlled opposition's protests against a law about foreign agents that was finally adopted in Georgian parliament, during those attempts to destabilize country, foreign ministers of Estonia, Lithuania, and Latvia not just went to Georgia but participated in these political and extremely destructive actions. They were marching together with these Western assets, Georgian Western assets, and Tbilisi was not happy about it. I'm kind of surprised why Tbilisi did not cut any diplomatic ties with these failed states. Really surprising. But we have information here that ambassador of Estonia in Georgia, Rina Kaljurand, stated that Estonia prepared some steps to basically Estonia initiated some steps and will gain support in Brussels to harm a ruling party in Georgia as a retaliation for adopting this bill about foreign agents. And among these painful steps that Estonia is in avant-garde of, Estonia is pioneering against Georgia, is revoke from Brussels of their visa-free travel for Georgian citizens. So they are not even hiding that they're gonna target ordinary citizens, by the way. They are not hiding this, and they are targeting citizens to basically create additional tensions inside the social fabric in Georgia to somehow manage and not just destabilize country, but also to overthrow current government and put in position of power Western assets that were marching around Tbilisi and trying to destabilize country just a few weeks ago, while Georgian parliament was adopting this law about foreign agents. So once again, I am really surprised that Tbilisi did not cut diplomatic ties with Estonia, Lithuania, and Latvia, because these so-called states, these failed states, clearly are hostile towards Georgia and clearly have been used as a spearhead against Georgian people by Western ruling class. It's just too obvious. You don't have to be genius of geopolitics to understand what the hell is going on here. But yes, threats, by the way, threats from Estonia towards Tbilisi, and attempt to blackmail, unsurprisingly, absolutely. Interfax is reporting that NVIDIA, US chip manufacturer, first time become most number one company in terms of capitalization, and according to this scheme that is created in US on this in this market of how you say it, actie. Well, according to scheme that and the bubble that was created in US in Nasdaq, S&P 500, and so on, which is total BS. This company worth $3.34 trillion. Unbelievable number. You have to be, I don't know, man. I don't know who person has to be to believe that this is a real price for this company that produces some fucking plastic, man. Come on, let's be real here. One virus, one good enough virus can destroy entire company in a matter of hours. And this company worth 3.34 trillion. Really? And Apple, by the way, phone producer, company that produces damn phones and some IP, some PO, worth 3.29 trillion on the second place. Come on, man. This is total scheme, by the way, and I will never ever recommend to anybody to buy even single share of these companies, because one day this bubble will burst and we will see real prices of these non-relevant companies. By the way, I mean, come on, man. Some Chinese villages, there are some companies that are producing chips that are no any better than these NVIDIA chips, man. And by the way, NVIDIA itself produces its chips in China. So I have no trust. That's what I want to say. By the way, I'm sharing information that formally this company, NVIDIA, costs 3.34 trillion now. It's supposed to be, number one company in terms of capitalization, but I think this is a scam. And real price for this company, real price tag is 100 times less. And if I was even trillionaire, I will never even buy single share of those non-entities, man. EU Observer is reporting that 14th package of sanctions against Russia from EU will include restrictions on import of Russian SPG by EU member states. Great news, by the way. Great news. It may harm Russia in the short run, but Russia will definitely find clients for its SPG. But, well, in the long run, these steps from the EU bureaucrats definitely gonna make European economies more miserable than they are right now. And maybe it will create additional incentive for public in Europe to wake up and realize that these so-called elites that they have in Europe are basically destroying their lives and the future of their kids and grandkids. I mean, how long these European societies are willing to be in a sleep, man? Just wake up, for God's sake. And also interesting news that if a couple of days ago exchange rate between Russian dollar, US dollar and the Russian ruble was about 90 rubles, 89, 90 rubles for a dollar. Today exchange rate is 81.07 rubles, 81 rubles basically for a dollar, after US imposed sanctions on Moscow's exchange. Ruble start, and as a result yuan become a main currency for Russia, including in terms of exchange rates, how exchange rates are formulated. Well, since then ruble start to become stronger and stronger, and right now, as we can see, by the way, it's 81 ruble for a dollar, and who knows, maybe in a week's time it will be 70 rubles for a dollar, and after months about 60 rubles for a dollar. I don't know, but this significant strengthening of the Russian ruble may be the indicator that because in terms of trade, dollar is and euro, by the way, are taking lesser and lesser percentage. Maybe people just don't want no more dollars and euros because they don't need it. They can conduct trade in national currencies. They can conduct trade in Chinese yuans, in some other currencies, not just ruble or yuan, but also currencies of the other countries. India's rupee, for example, or currency of the UAE. There are alternatives. Because of it, maybe no one really wants dollar no more as much as previously, and as a result of it, ruble is strengthening towards dollar and euro. Interesting. I wonder how long this trend will continue, and what is the position of big Russian exporter companies, because for them strengthening of the ruble is not really best news. They of course prefer ruble to be weaker so that Russian goods will be more competitive on the world market. But yet again, central bank has to keep a balance, isn't it, between interests of the public, interests of the federal government and the federal budget, and between interests of the business. And if we take in account that Russian economical bloc of the Russian government was quite successful, including central bank in terms of dealing with the Western sanctions, then I guess the Russian central bank will easily deal with the current situation also, and find this golden middle for the Russian ruble in terms of exchange rate that will be beneficial, or compromise but still beneficial for all the interessants. Okay, this is it for now. How long is this update? Quite short, by the way, 31 minutes, 31, 32. Hopefully you will find this update interesting and informative. YouTube did not like my first update today, and I'm quite sure YouTube gonna hate this update also. So if you find this video interesting and informative, please click that like button and leave some commentary just about anything. Maybe you can share a video to your friends to somehow fight back YouTube's sickening administration and algorithm. These likes and comments are only way we can fight back. And also, if you can please share information about my channel with your friends in real life or on the internet. And finally, if you think this channel is interesting, useful, informative, and deserves to exist, please consider to support my work with small donations through PayPal, Boosty, or by subscribing to my Patreon page. And what else? All the links, by the way, under this video in the description box and the pinned comment. That's it. Have a great day. And dear friends, today evening 9 o'clock I have not Sunday but Wednesday live stream, and we can discuss all these topics of course during the live stream. I hope you will find time to join the conversation. This is it for now. Bye.